Welcome to the deep dive. We unpack complex stories, aiming to give you the clearest possible picture. Today, we're tackling the Dharmasthala case. It started with some really shocking allegations, but then the whole thing just took this dramatic U-turn. Our goal here is to navigate this, really complex and shifting story using the sources we've got to figure out what actually seems to have happened. Let's just set the scene first. The bombshell dropped in July 2025. A former sanitation worker, Cian Chennaya, came forward. He claimed that between 1995 and 2014, he was forced to bury hundreds, his word, of sexually assaulted women and minors near the Netravathi River. The details he gave were harrowing, and it grabbed national headlines immediately.
Yeah, and to really understand the public reaction, how intense it was, you really have to look at the history there. There's this profound and lasting legacy of distrust. A lot of it stems from the 2012 Sojanya case, remember that? An unsolved rape and murder of a 17-year-old. The accused was eventually acquitted, and the court pointed to a shoddy investigation. So that whole situation, it created this fertile ground of anger, suspicion too. And these new allegations just landed right in the middle of that.
Right. So the public was already primed, basically. And when Chennaya made these claims, the outrage must have been, instantaneous. A police case was filed pretty quickly against the Dharmasthala Temple, and the state government set up a special investigation team, the SIT, led by DGP Pranab Mohanty, a top police official, to really dig in.
Exactly. But as the SIT actually started its investigation, the findings began to paint a very different picture almost immediately. By early August, they'd excavated 11 of the 13 sites Chennaya pointed out, and the results. Mostly inconclusive. Very few skeletal remains found. And interestingly, some of those remains were preliminarily identified as male, not female or minors, as initially alleged.
Okay, so already some questions popping up.
Big questions. And then came a really pivotal discovery, something that started to systematically cast doubt on Chennaya's whole story. At one excavation site, they found a PAN card, the permanent account number card for finances in India, and a debit card. And when they traced these cards, they belonged to a man who it turned out had actually died of jaundice. And importantly, he was cremated back in his own village.
Cremated, so absolutely not buried there.
Directly contradicts the whole mass burial narrative, at least for that specific spot. And it was a major blow to the credibility of the claims.
Wow. Okay, so the story's really starting to shift here. And then things escalated even more dramatically, right?
Oh, absolutely. On August 23rd, 2025, the SIT arrested Cian Chennaya himself. The charges were perjury and providing fabricated evidence, specifically related to a skull and some bones he'd given to a magistrate earlier on.
Fabricated evidence. He provided fake bones.
That's the allegation. And according to the reports, he then allegedly confessed to being, he said only a player who was being guided by masterminds.
Masterminds. So this flips the whole thing on its head.
Completely. The SIT's focus fundamentally shifted. It went from being a murder investigation, trying to find perpetrators of these alleged mass burials, to becoming a criminal conspiracy case. The central question wasn't who committed murders anymore, but who orchestrated these false allegations, and critically, why.
That's a huge turn. From looking for victims' justice to investigating a crime against the justice system itself. And the allegations kept crumbling after that, didn't they? There were retractions.
Yes, several. Sujatha Butt, for instance. She had initially linked her missing daughter to this case, saying she might be one of the victims. But later, she did a complete public U-turn. She stated that activists had actually prompted her to make the claim, apparently tied to some sort of property dispute she had.
Wow. Okay. And even Chennaya's family.
His own ex-wife came forward publicly and called him a compulsive liar. So his credibility was just collapsing from multiple angles.
Right. So with the core claims falling apart, the focus shifted again, this time to how the information itself was being handled, the media battle.
Exactly. It became a real battleground of information. A relative connected to the temple leadership actually got a legal gag order against over 390 media outlets trying to control the narrative. But that didn't last long. The Karnataka High Court set it aside, making a strong statement about press freedom, especially in sensitive cases like this.
And then technology enters the picture in a pretty worrying way.
Yeah, this is a newer disturbing element. A YouTuber, Samir MD, was booked by the police. Why? For posting an AI-generated video about the case. The video apparently contained completely fabricated details made to look real. It really highlights this dangerous trend of using AI for disinformation.
So AI deepfakes or generated content muddying the waters even further. And of course, politics got involved too.
Inevitably. The opposition party, the BJP, framed the investigation as a conspiracy to belittle Hindu devotees.
Hmm.
Again, we're just reporting what the sources state here, not endorsing any political side.
Understood. So just to recap, what began as this absolutely chilling story of potential mass burials near the Netravati River has now completely transformed. It's now primarily an investigation into a possible criminal conspiracy, maybe involving masterminds and definitely involving a sophisticated disinformation campaign, potentially even using AI.
Precisely. It's a stark case study, really. It serves as this powerful reminder for all of us, for you listening, of how narratives, especially shocking ones, can be constructed, how they can be challenged, and frankly, how they can be completely deconstructed in our modern digital age. The search for justice here took such an unexpected path, revealing less about the initial crime alleged and more, perhaps, about human motives, political agendas playing out, and these new technological deceptions. It really leaves you thinking, doesn't it? What does it mean for our collective trust when the very source of a story that gripped the nation turns out to be potentially the center of a major fabrication itself? Where does that leave us?